Just drink. I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another!
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Film on Tap, where we've got the tap that never runs out. Happy holidays. Hope you had an awesome Christmas if you celebrate. New Year's is right around the corner. And as always, I am joined by my wonderful co-hosts, Nancy and Andres. First and foremost, how was your Christmas?
It was good. Also, for transparency, I have the Raider game in the background. If anyone's curious, it's 7-6 Saints.
I see
several days later.
I see the lights going flashing every once in a while in your background. I was like, she's definitely watching something.
Yeah.
Sure. and also just for reference for some of the viewers, Nancy had on a game in the background while we were doing our Secret Santa, and at one point she just flipped out, like, oh my god,
dude,
oh my god, he broke his neck.
I thought he died. Okay, he landed on his head.
You thought
and
someone
move.
died, and then your Secret Santa gift ended up being.
Oh, we gotta tell that story. Okay, we're obligated to tell that story. I don't know if you want to tell it, Tom, but
so us Film on Tap people and a couple of our other buddies who have been on the show before, we decided to do a Secret Santa, and I got Nancy, and we do this thing called Elfster, which a lot of people are familiar with, where you put a wish list, and then you can pick from their list, or you can do your own thing. So I was like, well, I don't want to just go rogue. So I picked something from her list that she wanted, which was this like holiday advent calendar that has like little mini bottles of booze in it. I was like, all right, I feel like she'll love that. And I sent it to her. She got it. And then she opens it up. She's like, this feels a little light. How funny would it be if there's nothing in this? And then literally she opens up the box and there's nothing in it. It's literally just an empty box.
Oh my God.
And then to her surprise, she checks the Amazon listing and it literally mentions like 2 or 3 times there's no alcohol included.
In fine print, though, to be fair.
Well, I mean, it was capitalized. It was capitalized.
And small print. But the funny thing was, like, I was so excited for it. And
we were so amped.
As soon as we were done, I was like, all right, let's get to the booze. I like punch it open. I was like, oh, it's empty. You have to put it in by yourself. And then the wheels start turning of like, wait a minute, this box is kind of light. And I was like, oh my God, that'd be so funny if it was empty. And then open it up just like oh my gosh, I was so sad. So sad.
I saw you just have such a high and then such an immediate low. It was
well, and I felt bad for you. You paid like $20 for like an empty box.
It was a bummer. It was a bummer. I was just like, you know what? She curated this. It's got to be good. I didn't even bother to read the listing. And I just figured, who sells a advent calendar for booze and doesn't include booze? It didn't make any sense. So I don't know.
Yeah,
wild.
like the Lego advent calendars are about the same price, and they all come with Legos. So it's like,
and I intentionally typed in cocktail advent calendar, and that was the first thing that popped up, and it had pictures of alcohol in the little slots. So you know what? False advertising.
I mean, there was a lot of red flags though once I looked at the listing, other than the fact that
the reviews
mentions that there's no. Yeah, there was only like 3. There was like 3 out of 5 stars ratings, which is already a huge red flag. So probably everyone was like, "Where's the booze?"
Well, next time I know to read the reviews.
Yeah, but it's okay. Yeah, there's a redemption gift coming. It's fine. It's fine.
I appreciate it.
But how was yours, Andres?
Oh, it was not bad. Got to hang out over at the Cape with my in-laws and my wife, and we exchanged a couple of gifts. Unfortunately, for some reason, because of the fact that there's like a mail strike going on right now with the U.S. Post Office here and there in certain divisions or certain regions of this of the country, like all of a sudden gifts have been arriving late. And I remember showing up to the Cape with all my wife's gifts or whatever I had, and I had to apologize beforehand, being like, I'm sorry, I ordered all this stuff about a month ago and it still hasn't arrived. And then the funny thing is my father-in-law was like, oh, well, that makes 2 of us because some of my gifts are actually delayed too. But
sure.
They
just still haven't shown up yet. It's really weird.
I know, right? but apart from that, just hanging out with the family and I had to work for 2 days, but with my current job right now over working with a nonprofit, it's one of those things where it's like, you know what? Even when you do have to come in, it doesn't feel like this is going to be a long day at the office. Like you feel good when you get out of that job, and when you get out of work in particular, like you're like, you know what? You made someone's day. So honestly, it was a very loving and a very nice Christmas. I can't come up with a better word than nice right now. It was just really good.
I'm happy to hear that they paid you well to say that.
I didn't even mention their name either.
I didn't even mention how much I was paid. No, I'm very happy to hear that you both had a good Christmas. And this is our last episode, of the year, which is crazy to think another year has gone by.
How was your Christmas, Tom?
Yeah, I was about to say.
Tom. Oh yeah, it was good. I had a good time. I had some family over. We exchanged some gifts, played some games. Can't complain. It was very nice, relaxing, definitely needed. So yeah, it's pretty good. Sweet. I always forget to talk about myself.
About yourself, I know. I was trying to make sure.
Did you get to see your buddy on Christmas?
Which one was that?
No, that was this weekend.
Oh yeah, this weekend. Sorry.
Oh no, didn't get a chance. Never heard back from him. So I was like,
no.
well, it is.
Well,
what
you
it is.
kick that friend's ass because I am doing the show in the middle of a Raider game because
that's
of
why
that.
I had to make the executive call I didn't hear from them. So I was like, I'm just gonna pick a day then. Where I was like, it's fine, because I was like, every day Nancy's like, just let me know. It's like,
let me know.
No, but yeah, sorry about that. But anyway, yeah, today we got our last show and we got a couple big things to talk about, obviously. I mean, first thing and foremost, we got a huge trailer to talk about, one that Andres is not at all excited about. So I'm really excited to jump into that. We got a big movie to talk about, but then more importantly, we're going to be talking about our 5 favorite movies of the year so far. Briefly, we're going to give you our top 5 real quick. And and you can let us know in the comments what your favorites were. So without further ado, let's jump into today's show. First thing we're going to be talking about is the first teaser trailer for James Gunn's Superman movie starring David Cornsweet as the Man of Steel has arrived. We got our first peek at the movie here, hitting theaters next summer. Let's talk about this teaser trailer. I'm going to start with Nancy because Andres is probably just like bubbling over there.
Yeah. Super Doggy. I'm excited. This is the first thing. Yeah, that's why I'm excited. He looks so cute with his little cape. I'm so excited. No, but seriously, this looks really good. I watched the trailer, I think like last week. I don't know. It's been a bit, so I don't remember all the details. But I do remember Superdog. So excited for him. It looks great. I am very excited about this one. And I believe not Nicholas Hoult. Who's playing what's
Luther?
his face? Yeah, who's playing Luther?
Nicholas Hoult.
It's Nicholas
It
Hoult.
is Nicholas Hoult. Okay.
Right.
I saw a flash of him. Okay. Good for him. He's doing all kinds of things this year. And I think he's going to be really good Luther. So done. Check.
All right, so Super Doggy and Nicholas Hoult as Luther.
Yeah.
All right, those are the 2 takeaways.
Very
How about
excited.
you, Andres?
Oh my God, dude.
All right, I don't care. We're moving on.
All right. As a massive Superman fan, and Superman is my favorite superhero ever, it always felt like with every single one of these filmmakers that got attached to making a Superman movie, apart from Dick Donner, that it felt like, especially with Zack Snyder and Bryan Singer to a certain extent, I mean, it felt like they were always apologizing or had to sort of deal with the fact that people don't find Superman as innately cool as some of the other superheroes. And this feels like for the first time that we have a group of artists that truly, truly do love the character of Superman, that understand the character of Superman, that aren't apologizing for just sort of the outlandish vibrancy that he is as a character, and they're embracing it, so much so to the point that Crypto the Super Dog is in this movie. You have Superman battling a fucking kaiju, and also they make it a point to show Superman saving people in this trailer and not necessarily doing the entire like, collateral damage thing that Zack Snyder was very known for. But at the same time, everything about this trailer gets me so amped, down to John Murphy, who is my favorite composer. John Murphy is composing a Superman movie, and he decided to go back and use the classic John Williams theme for this, and it feels new and it feels fresh. I mean, everything about this trailer, down to Nicholas Hoult as everything about this trailer, down to Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, and Rachel Brosnahan as well too as Lois Lane, just from the so little glimpses that we see here. Honestly, this trailer feels so hopeful. It feels so vibrant, and it all comes down to one message, and it's look up. And Jesus Christ, James Gunn, take me home. July 11th cannot get here sooner. Yes!
Jesus. I'm happy to hear that you thought it was okay. I'm definitely happy to hear that. I mean, look, I've been looking forward to seeing footage from this one for a while, but I'm very excited for this movie. I think after Zack Snyder's very dark, dour run for the most part, it's nice to see a bright, vibrant, hopeful Superman movie again, or at least what appears to be one. And I'm loving what I'm seeing from David Cornsweet as the character. I mean, obviously he doesn't get to really talk much in this trailer, but I think just visually he really looks like the character and looks like he fits him perfectly. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, super excited about that. Wasn't sure how I'd feel about Crypto the dog, but damn it, that is a cute fucking dog.
And they sold you on him right off the bat.
Yeah, like they really bring you in. Yeah, they bring you in with that emotional element of Superman in pain and Crypto like carrying him home. Love that. The music sounds great. I love the visuals. There's some great action shots in this trailer, and it just looks colorful. It looks fun. It looks like a Superman movie, and I'm really excited for it. I think Gunn's going to do something special here. He's a really solid director. I know how much he loves Superman, so I know this is going to be a passionate film. And yeah, I can't wait to see more footage from this thing. I think for a teaser trailer, it gets the job done, gets you excited, doesn't show you too much. Yeah, can't wait for it. Looks fantastic.
Yeah, it feels like we've seen so much of the movie, but we have no clue what the movie's about. That's what I love about this teaser as well.
It's about Superman.
About Superman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's about Superman. But yeah, I think it looks fantastic. It hits theaters next summer. It's definitely going to be the big movie to kick off Gunn's, DC universe. We've had little bits and pieces of his universe showing up, whether it's a TV show or maybe like a documentary film about Christopher Reeve. But like this,
which are both brilliant.
Yeah. So, this is the first big DC swing. So this is going to give us a huge taste of what his DCU is going to feel like. So let us know in the comments what you think about this trailer. But now we're taking a turn into the dark now. We're turning into the darkness now, because today the movie we are going to be talking about is Nosferatu. Oh, you had to do that, didn't you?
There you go.
Bring back the dinosaur. Hashtag bring back the dinosaur.
Bring back the dinosaur cut.
We're going to be talking Nosferatu, people. Hit theaters on Christmas Day. It was my most anticipated movie for the whole fall/winter movie going season. We all got a chance to see it. We're going to be talking spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, might want to stop listening or watching this episode. Come on back after you do. Or if you don't give a shit about being spoiled, then just continue to do what you want to do. Live your life. So we're going to be talking generally about the movie first. Then we're going to dive deep into some spoilers about the film. But Nosferatu, what were we feel going into the movie? How did we feel afterwards? Start with you, Andres.
All right. So right off the bat, I am a huge Robert Eggers fan, and I've been anticipating this movie since he announced he was working on a Nosferatu remake back in 2016 after he came out with his debut, The Witch, which was fantastic.
Which, by the way, Tom, we still need to see a watch along of that.
It's the only Eggers movie I haven't seen.
Ooh, okay. No, we'll do a watch along on that one. I own it, so we could definitely jump in on that one.
Sounds like a plan, Stan.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So I'm a really big fan of Eggers, and knowing what type of skill set he does as a horror director really got me excited for this movie. And I will say he knocked it out of the park for me. Like, this might be Eggers' masterpiece, and it is a horror movie. It is a horror remake that not only does justice to the original classic, but also really takes certain elements and actually makes them even better and gives certain side characters more depth and more background and much more of a motivation, for lack of a better word, for all sorts of different characters. And I mean, that's also to say as well, too, that freaking Bill Skarsgård in this movie is freaking brilliant. After so many stinkers this year, I mean, with Boy Kills World, The Crow especially, I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, you know what? It's because we were all waiting for Nosferatu, and his interpretation of Count Orlok is terrifying. So honestly, I loved the hell out of this movie. It's so creepy. It's so dark and atmospheric. Go see it in a dark theater and go with a couple of friends, and it's such a great movie.
Yeah, go see it in Andres' basement. It looks very homey.
You will obey me.
See it in a dark theater.
How about you, Nancy?
Yeah, this movie was very beautifully done. All the shots, the directing. There's one shot in particular which they showed in the trailer, but it was so good. And the acting from Lily Rose Depp is amazing. I had my doubts with her, especially other things she's done. I didn't really enjoy. But she did a really, really good job. I think everyone else also did, but she stole the show for me. I surprisingly got my mom to see this movie. I did not think that she was going to be interested. She was fine with it, which was funny. She said some of the moments were a little too campy for her, which I thought was interesting. But I did not. I love this movie from beginning to end. I will say if you are more of a casual movie watcher, then you may not enjoy it as much. It definitely has a slow burn. So keep that in mind if you're planning to go see it. But the way I sold it to my cousin to go see it was, I said, essentially, it's a love triangle where Lily Rose Depp, she's very desperate. She's like, give me whatever, lowers the bar. And so Nosferatu is like, perfect. I love vulnerable women. Let's get into a friends with benefits situation. So they do that. And then she finds her forever man, Thomas. So she's like, sorry, Nosferatu, can't be friends with benefits anymore. We're going to be in a relationship. So she gets married. But then Nosferatu is like, oh, shit, wait, actually, I do love you and I want to wife you up. I'm going to come back. But he doesn't take rejection well. So then he becomes manipulative and scary. And then that's the movie.
You sound like that character from She-Hulk trying to describe everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, that's a short right there for Nosferatu.
Yeah, I mean, if that doesn't get you to see the movie, then what are you doing?
It's a nice little love triangle story. If you love the drama, this is the movie for you. You know?
Yeah. So it's a love triangle between a man and between a corpse. So there you go.
And a lady. There you go.
But a corpse with a killer mustache.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
So
we prefaced it.
Yeah, I love this movie through and through. I will say the two things that I had a little tiny issue with were the ending and said mustache.
Really?
It threw me off a little, but
it's in the book.
Very, very minor things. But yeah, other than that, I loved it.
Yeah, so I was super excited to see the movie, and I remember I went into the theater. I was like weirdly amped. Like I saw it with my sister, and like we love vampire movies, especially like Dracula or Nosferatu kind of movies. So like we were fucking amped for this movie. And I loved every second of this thing. I genuinely just was so like enveloped in this world and this atmosphere. I mean, it's just a gorgeous looking movie, but it's so creepy and atmospheric. I love the performances for the most part. We'll jump on that. I think Lily Rose Depp is fantastic in the movie. I'm telling you, some of the best performances I have seen this year are from horror movies. And I genuinely think that hers is one of the best I saw this year. It's a very hard role to pull off, but I think she does a great job. I think Nicholas Hoult is underrated in this movie. I think he does a great job at just looking scared as fuck for like 2 hours.
I don't think that was acting. I think he was legitimately creeped out.
Like legitimately just fantastic. But Bill Skarsgård as Count Orlok, the voice, the presence, the physicality, just all incredible, like just so unrecognizable. Like if no one had ever said he was in that movie and then afterwards I found out, I'd be like, are you shitting me? Like that was him. I would never have known because he's visibly unrecognizable, but just his performance, just one of his best to date. But I think this is Eggers' best movie by far and away that I've seen. I just think it's every bit of his kind of film. Like I just feel like he was made to make this kind of movie. Like this is the kind of project he was so like just born to make, and it's visible in every frame. I mean, the cinematography, camera work, it's all just beautiful. I mean, there are some shots in this movie that are just jaw-droppingly gorgeous and just everything you want from like a Nosferatu movie. But yeah, we could talk spoilers now, but yeah, I really dug this one.
Yeah.
For me, it's kind of hard to pinpoint like an exact moment because I feel like this was very creepy and haunting throughout the whole movie and had like a slow crescendo, but in a really good way. I think this is a perfect example of how you do that well. Also, I will say fantastic use of black and white. One of my biggest issues last year with a lot of the Best Picture nominees was that a lot of them used black and white to represent like this is in the past, this is present day, and I hated that. I think it's just so lazy when directors do that. And in this film, the black and white was used just so perfectly. I just can't say enough about the directing and the choices, and all of that was just really, really well done. If I had to pick one moment where I was like, oh shit, again, spoilers, is when he kills the 2 little girls. I was like, fuck, I didn't think we were going to go there.
I was like, we're there, then. We're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also just even the fallout from that scene too. I mean, we just reviewed Kraven the Hunter, and Aaron Taylor Johnson, where the fuck have you been? Like, this is exactly the type of acting we want from him. And he freaking nails the heartbreak when he's going up to his wife's grave and his kid's grave. And you just feel it. You feel his performance in there, and you're like, he's damn good. Like, I want to see more of this guy.
he was the only person I had a problem with.
I knew it. I was like, Tom's going to say Aaron Taylor Johnson. Are you sure you just don't have a bad taste from Kraven?
No, the thing is, I loved his performance. Like the first half, I was like, oh, he's this kind of like cartoony, like, yes, let's have a cigar and whiskey in my lounge because life is great. And I was like, I love this. Like, this is fantastic. And it was when things got like more intense. I don't know. I felt like it just felt like a very imbalanced performance where he didn't know what he really wanted to do. Like, yeah, he can get the tears to well up and like you feel it a little bit, but it just, I don't know. I just didn't buy him all that much in certain scenes, and it kind of took me out of the movie. Like, it just seemed like his performance was like tonally inconsistent, at least for me, where like he just didn't know like where he wanted to take it or what he wanted to do consistently, and it kind of bothered me. So it was better than Kraven, but still.
Yeah. See, I took it as he was like very like, I have money and life is great, like you said. And afterwards he's like, everyone's batshit crazy. What the fuck is happening? Like, get it together, woman. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't see it that way.
Yeah, no, I mean, I bought it.
Oh, maybe it is a Kraven thing.
You should have a bad mother.
I don't know.
Kraven.
Like honestly,
maybe I'll like it on the second viewing.
Honestly, like I bought more of Aaron Taylor Johnson's performance as it went on because of the fact that he's in such denial and that everyone around him is basically telling him, oh, there is some supernatural thing. And then he's just sitting there saying, no, hells no. Like you guys are all crazy. And then when it comes down to it at the very end, no matter who is right or who is wrong, he still knows at the end of the day that he's lost his family, and that tears him apart. And that is sort of where I bought his inconsistency in his tone. But I felt that was very intentional, and I felt that they did a great job with utilizing him in the movie as well. So I disagree, but you know what? I can see where you're coming from, though.
Yeah, I mean, I love the grave scene. I thought that was great. And like, there were moments where I really loved the performance, but like, really, he was the only person where I was like, every once in a while, I was like, where it's like, but Willem Dafoe, let's just agree, he makes everything better whenever he shows up.
I mean, he just only has to be there for like maybe a couple of minutes in an Eggers movie, and he kind of steals this show every now and again. Like he's pops so up. Good. He pops up only for like one scene in The Northman, and that's like one of the best scenes of the entire movie. I mean, like, God, Dafoe with Eggers' writing and his language style, I think he just goes to town with that. So honestly, it doesn't feel like an Eggers movie unless Willem Dafoe shows up.
That whole scene where he's like burning the grave and he's like, ah!
Oh yeah.
I was just like, this is everything. This is exactly what I want.
Yeah, I think you're right though, Andres. It is hard to pull off a period piece for a lot of people, and I think also too, like I was saying, if you're a casual movie watcher, that may deter you from seeing this. But I think I would say give it a shot if you're not that into period pieces, because William Dafoe's and Lily Rose Depp's performances are so well done. And I think it keeps you intrigued enough where it doesn't lull and you're sitting there like, oh my God, this like language and like the things that they're saying. A lot of times, sometimes it could be too daunting. And I think in this film, they did it really well.
I think they balanced it out with having the dialogue be accessible enough to where it doesn't feel as off-putting as it was in The Witch. Because I know that was a big thing with people with The Witch, where they were like, we have no clue what they're saying at certain points. Like, okay, I get it, but
even in The Northman, sometimes I think it had a little bit of that with The Northman as well.
Oh yeah, and even with the lighthouse, I think as well too. But Tom, you kept up with the lighthouse pretty much so though. I mean, I thought.
Yeah, it was very easy to kind of like digest, for the most
part. But guys, let's talk about one of the big shots of the movie, and like Bill Skarsgård. What did you think about his performance as Count Orlok?
I mean,
amazing.
I loved it.
Amazing. Yeah. Oh. I don't know what it is about the mustache. I think it was because he looked and sounded like a very stereotypical Russian guy for some reason. I think that's what threw me off a little bit. But other than that, I think, oh my gosh, he was just so creepy and so good. And, I know it's not his performance, but the shot I was talking about was when it has the shadow hand going across the town.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was so good. Oh, speaking of, I have like my Nosferatu nails on today.
There you go. Yeah, or even that shot of like his hand like going up the wall to go to her like room and open the door and stuff. Like just like little touches like that are just so chef's kiss right there. Like it's great stuff.
Or like even when Thomas is running away and he's looking straight out at the window and then you just see the hand go over him and he just goes, all right, time to open the door.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think they did a great job like visually showcasing like his power over people and like how he can like put people in this almost like fever dreamlike haze where like they don't even know how they got to certain places in a room or how they did this thing or that thing. Like I love when he has that meeting with Thomas or whatever, and he's got him by the fire doing whatever. And then literally like it just cuts to the morning where Thomas is just on the fucking floor face down. He's like, the fuck? Like it's just, I love how they showed that, how it just kind of feels like this hallucination thing where like we're just like in and out of consciousness. I loved it. It was so cool. Yeah.
And Thomas, what a perfect person to manipulate and like convince, because it's like, oh no, it's just in my old language. It
I don't know why he bought that
thing. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll sign it. Like, you idiot! What are you doing? This guy sounds like he's half dead. Even I can tell, not seeing his face, he sounds half fucking dead. And you're trusting him to sign on things you're not even reading. Isn't that his whole job, to know like contracts and shit? And he's like, oh, okay,
not great.
I'll just sign it.
They did establish that he is still new to that job, but even if you are new, you should.
You don't even need to have that job to know that's fucking fishy.
Yeah. Like you should know what you're signing.
Like, this contract's in another language. Trust it. It's like no.
Yeah. But I love the fact that later on in the movie when when Orlok goes over to Ellen, it basically just goes, yeah, your husband signed these divorce papers and he doesn't want you anymore. It's like, oh God! Yep, that's how he's trying to like weasel his way into her life, and
of course she doesn't believe him. She's like, lie. My husband loves me. It's like, yeah, but your husband's also kind of dumb. So
your husband's kind of a little dumb, even to the point where like he gets manipulated not only by very naive, but he also does get manipulated, but not only by Orlok, but he also gets manipulated by Ellen and Willem Dafoe's character later on in the movie when it comes to the ultimate ending. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where we're like, I think normally in a lot of movies that type of character would bother me, but because of the fact that he's trying so hard to really just get his life together after the circumstances of what happened, and even with all these gypsies, and also like, let's also not forget that his boss also sent him up there purposely as part of this entire thing.
Yeah, the boss was so creepy, dude. Oh my God! And then the pigeon scene where he was about to both me and my mom just like, nah. Like as soon as he held it up, I was like, no, I already know this is going. Gross. He's gonna Ozzy Osbourne this bitch. No, thank you.
See, it's one of those things where like his performance was appropriately creepy and appropriately over the top, but I couldn't shake Renfield from Dracula Dead and Loving It, where he's just grabbing everything and just eating stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that movie ruins a lot of Dracula movies for you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wait, was Nicholas Hoult? Was he in Renfield?
Yeah.
Was that him?
Nicholas Hoult,
look at that. Full circle.
Yep, full circle moment. Can't escape the vamps.
Yeah. Should we talk about the ending? Because that's the thing I had a little bit of a qualm with.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, am I incorrect in that he just got so invested in like sexy time that he was like, oh shit, I lost track of time. It's morning. Now I'm dead. Oops. Like, is that what happened essentially?
Well, no, the whole point was that they destroyed like his grave or grave so that even in the morning he had nowhere to return to, which would kill him.
But he didn't even try. He was just like, oh well. It's
I think maybe it's a mixture of the two, him forgetting and that he had nowhere to go.
Okay.
And also to a certain extent, it is his hubris as well too. Like he had the hubris to be like, you're gonna be with me whether you want to or not, and I'm gonna take away everyone that's important in your life until you're with me. And her knowing that essentially him taking away all her friends and most of her family, and also even to what he did to Thomas in terms of manipulating him and taking him prisoner over in their castle for 6 weeks.
Did you say manipulating?
Manipulating. but even to all that, like I think at the end of the day, I think ultimately Orlok's undoing is his own hubris, and it is the fact that he's been on this planet for so long that it's like, you know what, maybe there was a slight hint of maybe he's just kind of done with everything. I mean, if you were still that walking of a corpse after 300 years, you would probably be like, yeah, no, maybe it's time to punch out.
And he got what he wanted, so he's like, this is fine. Yeah. Also, side note, very interesting place to bite people. I'm so used to the the neck thing. I was like, oh, I guess that makes sense though, because it hurts right there. But Jude, even the him drinking their blood.
Oh, the sound design, so good.
Oh, it's so creepy. So good. Creepy.
That scene had my favorite shot in the movie, like where you watch him die. It's just like a haunting shot of him like screaming out or whatever. I was like, what a fucking shot. I remember I was like, this is going to be seared in my mind for a while. It's like, that's a good, I love that.
And I love the fact that they take a different route with the vampirism in this one, where it's like, I mean, I know Eggers talked about the fact of that choice of biting them in the chest as opposed to biting them in the neck. It's like, oh, you might get a little more blood out of the neck, but also in terms of really amping up the pseudo-sexual elements of the story and making it the chest, that actually speaks a little more to what the movie is trying to say. And especially at the very end, where instead of him puffing up into smoke, or as they did in the original, where he just kind of fades out into nothingness. I love the idea that at the end of the day, when the sunlight comes up, he's just a shriveled up corpse, and the time just sort of catches up with him right then and there, and then he's just
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie though, when she first kisses him, I was kind of hoping he'd turn into for some reason a little bit more handsomer or
what do you think? Beauty and the Beast?
I don't know. I was like, I don't want to watch her have sex with this weird
true love
half dead corpse. I was like, oh, I was just hoping it'd make that scene a little bit easier to watch.
This ain't a Disney movie, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah.
But you had mentioned this a little earlier, Nancy, that you sort of didn't buy the mustache on Orlok.
It's not, I think because it was it felt like a very stereotypical Russian dude, especially with his outfit and the hat and the mustache. It just kind of threw me off a little bit. Wasn't my fave thing, but wasn't that.
So you're saying you'd swipe left on Tinder? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I bought it entirely as with the fact that Orlok, and I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about Orlok and not talk about Dracula at the same time, because technically Nosferatu is an unauthorized adaptation of Dracula, but the thing is that Orlok and Dracula, to a certain extent, they're supposed to be Hungarian noblemen. So I love the fact that Eggers took that and was like, what did the noblemen look like way back when in the day? They had this big beard, they had this huge ass like coat, and then they also had this really crazy hat throughout most of their lives. I'm like, I love the fact that he brought that element to them, and then also with some of the design choices on Orlok, where he's they don't make him into a monster, they make him into a walking corpse. So his ears are rotting away to the point where it looks like a point, sort of like how Max Shrek looked like in the original. And I even love the fact that there's also the there's a slight, like when you look at Orlok when he's walking around, he always has a hunch. And going even to the detail where like he has a hunch because he's sitting in a flat coffin 24/7, and it's like, oh, I love the fact that they went as far with the detail, and it might not work to a certain extent with certain elements, but I think in terms of delivering his own signature and unique take on the material, I think it works really well, and it gives us something that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I give Bill Skarsgård credit for like his, I feel like that's more costume design and makeup design and all of that. I don't know if he has to say in that, but in the sense of the performance, yeah, he brought something new to it, and I love the like asthma-y gasping when he's talking, because that is very half dead-esque, instead of going just full deep voice creepy into it. And so I think that in that aspect, that was a really smart move.
I also think Eggers should have directed that last Voyage of the Demeter movie, because that one, that one scene where Nosferatu is traveling on the ship, I was like, this is what that movie should have been. Like, this is perfect. Yeah. And this is like a 2 to 3 minute scene. I'm like, this is what I wanted it to be. God damn it.
I was so hyped up for Last Voyage of the Demeter last year. And
like,
then
how do you fuck that up? Like, how? Anyway.
I truly don't know, but like,
you saw how.
Yeah. I mean, but within the 5 minutes that Orlok is in the boat in this movie, and then also just even the aftermath of that boat trip, where all of a sudden, Aaron Taylor Johnson sees the crashed ship and the shipwreck, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere they're looking at it, and then the fucking rats come out of it in like a swarm. It almost feels like one of those biblical plagues where you're like, how the hell are these many rats coming out of one ship? Like, you know what I mean? But
well, it was a plague.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was the Black Plague.
But yeah, I mean, there's so much to enjoy about this one. Really, the only issue I had with it is like, I didn't mind the slow pacing, but there were times where it did feel a little too slow, just because like it felt like a pretty simple story on paper that was stretched to almost 2.5 hours. So there were times where I was like, okay, come on, like we know like where we're going. Let's get there a little faster. It was just like it was definitely a smidge too long for me.
I would say it's a smidge too long only in the third act, because the first 2 acts were so perfect in terms of the pacing. And keep in mind, we don't see Orlok until maybe about 40 minutes into the movie, and I did not feel the pace at all.
But honestly, for most movies, I think that actually, to me, I was like, they're actually showing him relatively early in the movie. Whereas I feel like a lot of people now would be like, like save it to the end, like don't show him, kind of thing. So yeah, it's a weird mix of both. We don't see him for a while, but for most movies, that is still relatively early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, overall, I think it's a very solid movie.
Oh, definitely. I'm curious now. What would we give it out of 5 pints? What are we going with? Who wants to go first?
I think I'm going to give it 4.5. I think I really have just those slight issues with it, and I don't think for me it takes away from the movie at all. Yes, very small, slight pacing. The ending was pretty good again. Now that I think of it, and you're right, Tom, probably that he didn't have anywhere to go back to, not just that, he's caught up in his sexy time.
I mean, it was probably both.
Yeah, also true. Yeah. Because I do feel like he was like, oh shit, it's morning time.
No, he looked, he was like, fuck.
Yeah. I was having such a good time. So with those very, very slight issues, I think 4.5 for me.
All right, 4.5. Andres?
Yeah, overall, I think this is Eggers' most accessible movie. I also think this is the movie that you see the most out of him and the most passion. And honestly, it's a perfect storm of so many different elements in terms of using history and in terms of using old source material that this, not necessarily parody, but this adaptation is basing itself off of, which is Bram Stoker's novel. I think this is probably one of the most unique horror films that we've seen in the past couple of years. It's definitely one of the more unique takes on the vampirism myth. Honestly, this one with a bang. It's broken my top 10. Absolutely. It is a movie I think If you're a horror fan, you absolutely should see, you know, and I agree with Nancy that there's certain elements of this that may not play to the mainstream, but for anybody that's willing to go along with the ride, it's a fantastic ride, and I could not recommend it more. It is most definitely a 4.5 pints. I mean, even coming out of the movie, I was like, this is a 4.5 right away. Like, just sort of like, where does it fit in my top 10? That was the ultimate question that I had.
Nice. For me, I've only given one other movie this year a 5, and that was Dune Part 2. And even with my minor qualms, I still think this is just like a perfect Nosferatu movie. I think it's a perfect atmospheric horror film. It like checked off all the boxes for me. Like, it was a world I didn't really want to leave. And I just genuinely enjoyed it from beginning to end. And I just loved everything that it was doing. So I'm giving it 5, giving it 5 pints. I said it.
Hey, there you go.
Nice.
But speaking of favorite movies of the year, it's that
Speaking
time,
of fives.
Speaking of fives, it is time to narrow down our top 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our 5 through 3, and then we're going to do 2 and 1. So whoever wants to go first, go for it, and then we'll reveal our favorites.
Yep, I got my list.
I have 4. Why? I feel like I can't think of a 5. I'm sure once you guys say something, I'll think of it. Right. I'll go 5. I'll go Quiet Place Day 1. I think it was a really, really well done movie. Joseph Quinn, I can't say enough good things about that one particular scene with the magic. Just gets me every fucking time. I love it. So yeah, Quiet Place Day 1. It's my 5. 4, I have Lisa Frankenstein.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. We'll get early contender
3.
there.
I don't know though, because I really do love Lisa Frankenstein, but I know the other movies are technically better. But I'll put her there for now. Lisa Frankenstein. That's my 4. Love it.
Okay. And what's your 3?
Let's go Dune 2. I feel like there has to be a movie. No, actually, let's go Abigail. I'll go Abigail. My 3.
Abigail.
Actually, let me switch it. Abigail 4, Lisa Frankenstein 3. There we go.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Okay. So she's liking some horror this year. Love it. All right. How about you, Andres? What's your 5 through 3?
All right. Well, my number 5, funny enough, is actually Nosferatu.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
And we just spent all this time talking about Nosferatu. Fantastic movie. 4.5 pints. Really love the hell out of it. But my number 4 would have to be Challengers. I absolutely love.
That almost got to my top 5.
Oh, see, like it was in and out for the longest time. And then I went, you know what? I have to be truthful to myself. I loved that movie top to bottom. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross's score, the performances from all 3 leads are fantastic. I think this movie definitely proves that that Mike Weiss and Zendaya in particular are really, really talented actors in this capacity. I forget who the third one is, but
Josh O'Connor.
Yeah, Josh O'Connor. I loved his performance in this as well. And yeah, and also just taking something that is, you know, for lack of a better word, can be kind of boring as tennis is, and making it so dynamic and making it dangerous to a certain extent. This is a fantastic movie. I loved Challengers. Go see it if you haven't seen it. And then I'm gonna be truthful with myself. You know what? Number 3 is probably not a perfect movie, but at the same time, I had so much damn fun with it. It was probably the most fun I had this summer at the theaters. And that is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Wow.
Oh, I forgot about that. Shit.
Yeah. you
Right,
have a little bit of time.
I'll replace my Abigail with Deadpool. There you go.
Okay.
Replace
Wow,
the Abigail with
Nancy's list is changing by the second, folks.
There's too many movies.
But in terms of Deadpool and Wolverine, I think this is the best that we've ever seen. Ryan Reynolds as a character as well. They go to so many different places with that character. And then in particular also Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Like for him, for this sort of being like what his 10th outing as Wolverine, I think, somewhere around that area. And he is still finding ways to keep this character fresh. I mean, including with the fact that that this version of Wolverine is the worst one out of the bunch. And I'm like, nah, you're the best one out of this entire thing. absolutely love this movie top to bottom. I would say, like, even Jen would probably agree that she's heard Living on a Prayer so many times around the apartment just because it's just
Living on a
fantastic.
Prayer?
Living on a
Yeah, from the movie. Oh wait, hold on.
That's John Bon Jovi.
Yeah, it's Bon Jovi. Oh my God. It's
No, Like a Prayer. Like a
Prayer. There we go.
I was like Living on a Prayer.
But you know what? You convinced me. I was like,
there we go.
no, but
yeah, Deadpool Wolverine, solid at number 3.
Okay. All right. These are some interesting choices. I love it. This took a while to narrow down to a top 5, but I'm feeling good about it. So at number 5, this is one I loved during the summer, one that really kind of took me by surprise, didn't expect to love it as much as I did, is Longlegs. I loved this movie. I thought it was one of the best horror movies of the year. I think it's one of my favorite Nicolas Cage performances. Micah Monroe is fantastic. But Osgood Perkins, he's showing that he is a horror director to watch. I mean, I love the direction of this movie. It's so atmospheric and creepy. It's genuinely unsettling. It's the best kind of creepy horror. I love the story. I loved where it went. It was so unpredictable and unique and original. And I loved every second of it. So good. At 4, a movie I wish more people saw and talked about, but it's a movie that is so endlessly rewatchable and so much fun to watch, is Hitman with Glenn Powell.
Yes.
Which was a huge favorite early in the year for me. I think this is my favorite Glenn Powell performance. It really shows his versatility and all the things that he can do as an actor. It's a really fun, unique story that's based on a true story. I think it's one of my favorite Linklater movies now. And it's such a fun, unique, sexy movie that I think is so good. And also Adria Arjona, the co-star in the movie, she's great. They have amazing chemistry. It's funny. It's endlessly entertaining. Gotta watch it. It's on Netflix if you haven't seen it. And at number 3, is a movie I just saw pretty recently that Andres had been trying to get me to watch for a while because he's like, you'll love it. You'll love it. I was like, fine. And that's The Substance. I think
still haven't seen it.
This movie is wild, but in the best ways possible. I am not a body horror guy at all, which is why I was very hesitant to watch it, because it's like, I don't like gross, fucked up things happen to people's bodies. Sorry, that's not my thing. But it's such a well-made movie, like just from the get-go, just in terms of the direction, the sound design especially, and just the performances from Margaret Qualley and especially Demi Moore. I mean, it's just such a good, immersive, powerful movie about like trying to be young again when you're old and just like the consequences of youth and just all this kind of stuff. And it's just such a well-crafted movie, and it's lingered in my mind ever since. So that's my number 3.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right. Hit us with your 2 and 1.
That movie. 2, I'm gonna go Nosferatu. Yeah.
There you go.
I think it's good. It's good.
It was good.
It's great.
All right. What's your number 1?
I'm gonna go Dune 2. Here's the thing. I enjoy watching Lisa Frankenstein so much. I can rewatch that movie anytime.
Just say it's your favorite.
But I can't say it's better, like a better made movie than Dune 2. I think Dune 2 was just very good. Considering the depth of that lore, and it was able to keep me entertained and enthralled. A lot of times that just throws me off. It's just like, this is too much for me to digest. So the fact that it was keeping me entertained, it's like I have to give it props for just being a well-made movie. So I would say Lisa Frankenstein is my favorite to rewatch, whereas Dune is just, I think it's the best movie of the year.
All right. And I forgot my dog was here. Jesus Christ.
What is that?
I totally forgot he was here. Holy shit. That's how quiet he's been. Oh my God.
Yeah. Freak me out.
How about you, Andres?
Yeah. Number 2 with a bullet for me is freaking The Substance. I absolutely love that movie top to bottom. It is only the second movie I've given a 5 out of 5 to this year. I went to go see it in theaters. I had no clue what to expect. I kind of avoided the trailers, and I kind of avoided anything I could on this. Went in with a fresh set of eyes, and Demi Moore is freaking fantastic in this movie, and Margaret Qualley as well too is equally steps up to bat on this. And the director, I forget what her name is, but she also directed Revenge as well, and that's also a very underrated feminist horror movie as well, if you guys want to check that out, and it's fantastic. Yeah, I cannot say enough great things about this movie. I mean, even Dennis Quaid's creepy performance in this.
What a great douchebag performance. Phenomenal.
Oh my God. and just everything that they go into in terms of the thematic elements, like I feel like I should not even say that much because it is probably one of the craziest third acts I've seen in recent history where I'm like, holy shit, they really went there. So like, yeah, absolutely. I love The Substance. It is one of those that I feel is going to stick with me for quite a bit. I've already got the 4K pre-ordered and it's going to be fantastic. I loved the Substance. I will say though, my number one, I think we should all just have announced our number one because it's Dune Part 2, guys. Like, I mean, God,
so well made.
Such a great movie, and also such a fantastic adaptation of what people consider to be sort of an unfilmable or unadaptable book, where they change up a lot from the book going into the movie adaptation that it kind of feels like even David Lynch tried to do it, tried to be as faithful to the book in certain capacities, but then it just felt like certain weird things stayed in. But what the brilliance of what Villeneuve did with this story was that he adapted things that were right to be adapted, because film is a completely different medium than reading a book. Like, you know, you can, like, they also got us to buy Alia, Paul's sister, talking from the womb in this movie, and it did not feel out of place.
It did not feel like that Marilyn Monroe movie. Thank God.
Oh my God, I totally forgot.
Still haven't watched that.
Don't. Save 4 hours of your day.
Yeah, I think I will.
Yeah, but yeah, no, Dune Part 2, absolutely the best movie of the year. I mean, I will say, had this movie come out last year, it probably would have been my number one of last year as well, too. So absolutely love the movie. Fantastic. Go see it if you haven't. I'm still waiting on that freaking IMAX 4K whenever Warner Bros. Decides to release that. So there we go. I'm
curious, Andres, if The Batman and Dune Part 2 came out in the same year, which one would you pick as your favorite?
Oh man, that's a tough one. That's
why I asked it. I asked the hard hitting questions.
You know what? I would go. Shit.
You know what's in your heart.
The Batman.
Yeah, there you go.
And yes, I'm fine with it. With the sequel getting delayed to 2027 now, I'm okay.
We're totally fine. We're totally fine. Yeah. So I was going back and forth with my 2 and my 1, but I knew what was true in my heart. So at number 2 is Nosferatu. That rhymed. I love the movie. It's great. You know, aside from like the like minor pacing issue, I still think it's like just like a perfectly made horror film, and it lived up to all my expectations. Loved it so very much. Couldn't recommend it enough, especially if you love the horror genre or vampire movies. You got to see it. And then 1, it's Dune 2, man. Like, just like it's not even really a competition. Like, I didn't even question whether it was going to be my 1 for more than like 10 seconds. And it's such a perfectly made like genre film. It's got phenomenal performances, incredible visuals and sound design. It's just great blockbuster storytelling that feels so intimate, but big in emotional scope at the same time. It's just, I love it so very much. I've watched it so many times throughout the year, and it's a movie like I've watched it with people who haven't seen it before, and they're just wowed by it. Well, I'm constantly wowed by the movie. I think it's just a miracle of a sequel. And yeah, it's by far and away the best movie I saw this year. Dune 2. You've heard it from all 3 of us. Dune 2 is the best movie of 2024, folks.
Yeah.
Dune aside, you got your work cut out for you guys.
Yeah.
Honorable mention, which I think I said last time, My Old Ass. That movie came out of nowhere. I did not expect to cry during that movie. It's very good. So
Aubrey Plaza.
See that one if you haven't. It's a fun one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, some honorable mentions I have for my list. Challengers there. Anora was really fantastic. Also, Love Lies Bleeding, phenomenal movie. Wild Robot was an incredibly good animated movie.
Ooh, I need to see that stuff.
Also, Heretic, I thought came out of nowhere. Surprised the hell out of me. That was fantastic. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Smile 2, really great horror sequel. A lot of great horror movies this year.
It's a very good horror year, for
really good year for horror. Of course, Deadpool and Wolverine. And also an underrated movie, Rebel Ridge. You got to check it out. It's on Netflix. Okay.
I still got to watch that too, yeah.
Aaron Pierre is going to be the next John
Jordan.
Stewart. Is it?
John Stewart.
John Stewart in the Green Lantern show, and there's a reason why. The dude is a star. Like, watch that movie; it's amazing.
Nice. I just saw A Complete Unknown over the weekend? No, during the week. I don't know. I saw it, but it's actually really good. I was surprised. So go see that one as well. I think it's very, sorry not to go off track, but it touches a lot on more the musical and political movements at the time, which I really liked. It wasn't just necessarily a straight up, story about Bob Dylan, but yeah, I liked it. Go see a complete.
Yeah, I still got to see that one. We're trying to squeeze that one in before the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that one as a big Dylan fan myself. But it turned into, what if I only can pick one movie this year? Yeah. At the end, is it going to be Nosferatu or Bob Dylan? I'm sorry, I'm going Nosferatu for that one.
Yeah,
but I am going to see a complete unknown though, for sure. But in terms of honorable mentions, apart from all the other ones that we talked about as well too, I really loved We Live in Time. Actually, that to me is one of those. Yeah, that to me is one of those where that solely lies on the performances of the two leads, and you buy them top to bottom. And I thought that they were fantastic. I also really like The Bike Riders as well too, with Austin Butler.
That's a good one. I really enjoyed that one. That was good. Yeah, underrated movie for sure. Yeah,
very underrated movie. And also another really good one. I mean, I know we don't talk about documentaries too much, but Super/Man is, I think, a fantastic documentary. I took my wife to go see that, and she's vaguely familiar with Christopher Reeve's history with the role and all the other stuff. But when you really see that the movie is actually just a big documentary about his life after the accident and how that affected him going forward, it is truly a life affirming and really touching personal story. And it's one that I think should not be missed. And the other one last one as well, Jesse Eisenberg's Real Pain. I thought
that's a good one.
I'm waiting for that to come out so I can watch it.
I guarantee you Kieran Culkin will get nominated for Best Supporting Actor for this one. He is fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, let us know in the comments, folks, what your favorite movies of the year were. We're definitely curious to hear them. Thank you for tuning in to another year of the show. We appreciate it, whether you listened to us or you watched us. It means a lot. Another year of the show down. So much fun to do this show with you guys. And thanks for tuning in to yet another episode of Film on Tap, where we've got the tap that never runs out. We'll see you in 2025. Take care, folks.
Happy holidays and Happy New Year.